What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have why India must lead in the Indian Ocean. Sanjeev Sanyal explains. Very excited to hear this. Before we do, however, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you like support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Let's get to it.
If you just have to look at the map, and you can see that the Indian Ocean is a very important aspect of the geographical landscape in which we exist. And in fact, from an economic perspective, we are actually an island nation. We don't trade at all to our northwest. And to our northeast, we do trade with China, but not with the bits with which we have the border, because that part is not the economically significant part of China. So effectively, from a economic perspective, we are an island nation. Large part of our trade happens through the maritime route. And it's not something new. It's been true for thousands of years that we have been trading. And in fact, Indian history cannot be understood in any landlocked way. So yes, the Indian Ocean is absolutely critical.
Looking at the next 4 or 5 years, what should India do in the Indian Ocean? I think we've been doing a lot of it, but what would come to your mind?
So I think too much of the emphasis of this goes into these military type discussions. Actually, the things that we need to do are much simpler. We actually need to, first of all, invest into a big merchant navy. Today, 90 to 95% of all our trade is carried by foreign ships, exports and imports. Okay. Now, we don't need China to get annoyed with us. 3 large shipping lines getting annoyed with us is good enough to, really.
So that to me is intriguing in a sense of what do these foreign ships charge for you to export your goods to another country? And by you creating a merchant, a navy merchant, however he said it, a fleet of your own ships to export and import from other countries, how much more money does that save India than having to pay that? That's kind of what intrigues me. I didn't know that. For some reason, I legit thought every country like had their own ships to export and import goods, and exporting countries would use their ships to export their goods to other countries, and then importing, you would just get it imported from other countries would send ships, and if that makes sense. Okay, let's continue. I feel stupid now, but let's continue.
Stall our economy. So we need actually a large Indian merchant navy. We have only right now 480 ocean-going ships that can do big cargo movements. India, 480 ships is nothing for a country of our size.
And that will require if this entire
I do get that.
Yeah, so therefore, first of all, we need to invest into our civilian shipbuilding capability.
I am intrigued to hear though if he like has an estimate in his head of how many ships does he think India needs.
And we have a navy which is of some caliber, but our merchant navy is just tiny compared to the world. Even for our own uses, is not good enough. It is one of our biggest imports, by the way. After oil, the single biggest import of India is, interestingly, shipping costs.
I don't think most people know that.
Yes, it's almost $100 billion of shipping-related things, from insurance to hiring the ship to doing all kinds of ship-related stuff. So this is the second most important thing. It is economically makes no sense not to be building ships. We produce.
So after oil, your second biggest cost is shipping costs, which is 100 billion. Did he say a year or what was it? $100 billion. So that's how much money India could be saving. Of course, it'd be pretty expensive creating a huge navy merchant of ships. It's going to be very expensive. But I think when you think of it in the long term, it's going to make you that money back and then some. So, but I don't know all the ins and outs and everything that would go into that. So I'm speaking on a topic I know nothing about. I'm just going off of the information that he's giving me.
Less than 0.5% of the world's ships. And yet we have every ingredient for building ships. We can build nuclear submarines. We can build large aircraft carriers.
Destroyers,
but we are not building tankers.
All right.
Okay, so what is a shipbuilding? It's basically thousands of hours of welding, okay, which is basically means you need a lot of young men. India has
Yeah.
more young men than every other country, any country in
Yeah.
the world. Okay,
Yeah. That's
today who
true.
makes all the ships? 45% of it is done by the Chinese, 20% by the
Oh
Koreans, another
wow.
25% by the Japanese.
And they are saying that we
45
don't have
by
the
the
capacity
The
anymore.
Chinese may
Chinese?
keep it going for a little while. The Koreans and the
Yeah, but
Japanese
they're
cannot
aging
keep going
out.
because they don't have young men.
Yeah.
They don't have the people to stand up, pick up a plate, weld it. That's basically what shipbuilding is. And literally tens of thousands of hours of welding. That's what shipbuilding is. We are the only guys who can do it. We have the technology to do it. We have the steel to do it. We have the young men to do it. We have a coastline to do it.
Once upon a time, India used to have a lot of control over. India spread its hard power and its soft power through the Indian Ocean. There were civilizational aspects of India's control and influence in places like Southeast Asia and the Middle East, places like Oman, Indonesia, Vietnam. All of those were places where India spread its power through the Indian Ocean. And then, somewhere along the way, India lost a lot of that control over the Indian Ocean. And then people came in from other parts. Today, it is time to start looking again at the Indian Ocean to see if somehow this could again become a very important sphere of India's influence and India's power in the world. Is the Indian Ocean the place where India can checkmate China, for example? Is the Indian Ocean the route through which India really implants itself on the map of the world?
Alright. That legit was freaking awesome. Do you guys think that India will get control over the Indian Ocean again? Do you think that they will build this merchant of ships? I didn't know that at one point they did rule over the ocean. But do you guys think that will come back to India, or do you not see it happening? I do agree with him. India has the largest amount of young men. When it comes to workforce, you can't. There's not a bigger workforce than what India has. China's, like you said, China could keep it going for a while, but they're aging out. Their population is decreasing, and I think so many countries, if not every country, so many countries in the world have a decreasing population right now. Um, yeah, I think even India's is going down a bit right now, but they just have much more young people than any other country, and so when just I feel like everything is just pointing at India to lead into a new era. I feel like everything's pointing at India to lead us into a new era. And so, like I said, I'm very intrigued to see what happens. That's all we have. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, check out the next. I'll see you.